And we are live. Peace, 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 and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Golden Opportunity Sunday with the goddess, with the mostest, the multifaceted, multi-talented, multi-entrepreneurial spirit of the Goddess Asha Rae. And we got an equally multi-dimensional talent here and our sister Uniquea Monet in the building. So without any further ado, because my honor privilege at this time to introduce some, present the others, the hostess with the mostest, the goddess of gold on this golden evening for y'all, Goddess Asha Rae in the building.
Mhm. Peace and love, everybody. Thank you, Brother Knowledge. It's always a pleasure to hear you, especially with the warmest introductions. I love it. So, definitely want to welcome everybody here to the show this evening. And thank you for taking the time to tune in wherever you may be. We have another golden opportunity set before you this evening with the sister, the goddess Uniquea Monet, as the brother mentioned. And we're going to be sharing this evening about the resurrection of your gifts. Yes, gifts.
Yes,
Yes, because we got
that's exciting.
multiple gifts, right? And we want to bring those out to the forefront, bring them up from wherever they may have been lying hidden or dormant, and just talk about some creativity this evening. So, welcome to the show, Sister Uniquea. How are you this evening?
Thank you, thank you. All is well. I'm feeling highly favored right now. I'm
Yeah.
very blessed to be here with you and excited. So,
Hey, the
yeah.
feeling's mutual. So, everybody out there listening, what I was thinking about this week is, a lot of people are going to be kind of focused in on Easter, Resurrection Sunday, whatever, something like that. And also just the fact that we're quarantined and we can't move about, whether you celebrate or not. We're not moving about the normal routine or going about things as usual. So in that in that situation and in these circumstances, what are we doing about our creative energy? What are we doing with our free time? And how can we hone in and tap in to the greatness that's within us? So I figured today would be another golden opportunity to challenge and maybe perhaps inspire all of us to get more in tune with our gifts. So, Sister Monet, you are quite the entrepreneur and creative spirit I see. I was checking out some information that you sent over, and I had a chance to go onto your Instagram and check out your work, your creative, display of your hand workings. The things that you make with your hands and just bring to life. So we're going to tell the people a little bit about what you do, and everyone. The name of the company is Les Nobodies, right? And
Right.
so I was like, okay, let me hear about this. It definitely struck interest, and I wanted to bring it to the platform and let the people hear all about it. So tell me about Less Nobodies and exactly what that is.
Well, the motto for Less Nobodies is nobodies are not is nothing and nothing is everything. And essentially what that means is all elements of this universe and the next are interdependent. I know at times, we may be feeling like things that are happening to other people in other places or to other, species or whatever, or in the cosmos doesn't have anything to do with us. But in reality, it does because everything is interconnected. So that's pretty much the essential concept of Less Nobody's Business. And I expressed, that concept through art and entertainment. So under Less Nobody's Business, you have the many umbrellas of Nobody's Music, where myself and a couple of other artists, we make music expressing these ideals. I have Nobody's Reading, where I write books, and also myself and my son, we do a reading vlog on YouTube every other week, and we read together. I also have Les Nobody's Collection, which was the orgonite and gemstone home and body decor that you spoke of on the website. I provide education with that as well. And then I have my books. I have children books. I have a adult horror series coming out, and there's so many other things that I've been planning on doing. But I'm also building Nobody's Forecast, where I do zodiac readings for a certain amount of time. Like I explain where each planet is and what that means for us on an electromagnetic level.
Yes, I saw that. I was getting excited about that.
Yeah. And I've been this month, well, actually next month makes it a whole year that I've been doing this. So now I have like my core information set up. So now I can just like revamp the show for the years to come. So that's really exciting. I have some really exciting things coming. The more I get in tune with different software programs and things like that. So that's pretty much it. Les Nobodies in a nutshell.
That's it, guys. That's it. Just she only named about 90 things that she does, but that's it. Okay. So as I was speaking to you by phone earlier, I was pretty impressed, with the creativity that you brought to life. You know what I mean? Like that you had an idea, you had a concept, and you actively pursued it and brought it into fruition. So like I'm going to take it back a little bit, and I wanted to ask you, what were some of like your early childhood memories of being creative? Like what sparked this creative flow in you?
Oh, what a great question.
Thank you.
I've always been an artistic person. When I was a kid, I was in every after school program, arts and crafts program. I loved art class. I used to win poetry contests. I always loved writing. I just was always into art. I always loved art. It was like a nice escape. It was a nice way to like use my imagination. I used to be outside always talking to myself. It was two things that I always wanted in life. I always wanted to have powers, and I always wanted to find like my magical twin somewhere. And
so that's what's up.
Right? I haven't got the twin part down packed yet, but I found like a realistic way to go about with the powers thing. And it's so cool. Like now, as an adult, I went through a lot of stages since my childhood. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to have an art shop. I wanted to be an art teacher. I wanted to do all those things. And then as I became older, so many things happened to me that made me feel like I couldn't do those things anymore and still like be in life.
Well,
and it's just so funny that I'm coming back to it.
I'm so sorry for interrupting, but I heard you say that there were a lot of things that made you feel like you weren't going to be able to get to it. So for the audience sake, like what were some of those things, do you mind naming them? Like just so that we can kind of see that even when you have adversity or struggle or, different things pushing up against you, you can still make your dreams a reality. So maybe share some of those with the audience if you don't mind.
Okay. One of the biggest things, I had my oldest son when I was 15. So I was still in high school. I was working. I was in high school and I was being a mom. And then I went to college and I was working a couple different jobs at different time periods. And I was still being a mom. So that was like one of the major things. It was like, oh, you need a real career. You can't just, get into art. You have to, do something that, is going to make you money. So I got caught up in that and I was trying to find like a happy medium.
Right.
But it wasn't sticking. Nothing was sticking. The more I would research about a specific job, I would get turned off because it was still
scratching that itch. It wasn't scratching that itch. Yeah, that's real. Like, I know how it can be like especially with the constructs of this typical society, we were often groomed up in such a way that the creative spaces, like art, music, expression was sometimes frowned upon as not, like you said, real jobs or not something to actively pursue. It could only be a hobby. And so a lot of people never monetize these gifts or never really tapped fully into them so they could explore them and see what they could produce, for fear of having to take the responsible route or, just trying to do the right thing to provide and stuff like that. So I really get that. I understand that. And I've had similar experiences myself, but before I interrupted what you were saying, I think you were on the train of thought about it was going to come to me. Now I done forgot. I'm sorry.
No, I completed my thought. Pretty much in a nutshell, it's just kind of cool how like one fun fact about the cosmos is it takes Saturn about 30 years to do a full rotation. And
Ooh.
Saturn is the planet that controls the restrictions we set for ourselves, our disciplines and stuff like that. And I'm 29. So it's funny how like this many years later, like now I'm coming back to like that childhood dream and I'm actually doing something with it.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
You know,
something I reflect on.
that's pretty dope because, as a matter of fact, today in particular, I saw the number 1, 2, 3, 4 for the like millionth time, you know, and over the past year specifically, like I've really seen that number a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. But all those numbers, I spent some time looking into researching, you know, investigating their spiritual meanings and numerology. I can't even say the word, but numerical. Let's just make it more simple. Numerical explanation and like, you know, what were the value of those numbers or whatnot. And so, anyways, the 1, 2, 3, 4 brought it full circle. It said that it was a time of like full circle, starting back at 1. You know, it begins with 1 when you look at it, and by the time you add it all up in value, 1, 2, 3, 4, it equals a 1 or something. And I was like, I don't 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you break that down? You know how that goes? I'm trying to think. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. Yeah. And then 6 plus 4 is 10. The 1 plus the 0 equals a 1. Okay. So that's how it derived back at 1. But the significance of that was starting back at, like you said, that childhood wonder, that childhood ambition, you know, that dream state, you know, where we weren't afraid to pursue the things that were deep in our heart and our soul that may seem crazy to other people or may seem unworthy to other people. But here I am, and I'm 40 now, and I'm still being told to go back to square one. And like yourself, I've tried many conventional ways of being successful and, you know, pursuing life in the traditional sense, you know, like going to college and doing these things or whatnot. But I never really found the type of success that you would think one would have, you know, with all of these endeavors I pursued. But I've always been told to tap into my creative side and that I would find the most success there. And then even in a card reading, I received the same information. And then, like I said, reading today, I saw the time 1, 2, 3, 4. And I said, dang, there it is again, you know, and it was on this Resurrection Sunday and everything like that. And I was thinking, well, what is that message to me? And once again, a confirmation to resurrect that which has been lying dormant and lying, you know, just kind of not fully awakened. So I feel like a giant was awakened today, y'all. And that's why we have, Uniquea Monie on the show with us today to just talk about some ideas and some creativity that hopefully may spark you out there listening to get back to your art, get back to your craft, get back to your love, your passion, right?
Right. That's what it's about. That's your innermost self. When you tap into your inner dwelling and you know, find a balance between, you know, what you want the world to see and who you are, be fine. It's all about duality.
It really is. But so duality, it may seem more natural to us who have kind of been delving into it, you know, understanding it or trying to understand it. How would you describe the duality for our listeners?
For me, duality is it's a balance between the physical and the spiritual realm.
Yes, Neo.
Me and my son, we actually read Metu Netter. I believe that might have been the first book we read together on YouTube. And it really emphasizes on that duality, on bringing that upper consciousness and that lower consciousness together. I know when people first get into spirituality, and I did too, when they first get into spirituality, it's just like, oh, positive vibes only, happy, happy, happy. I'm only about this crown chakra, only about intuitive spirits, you know, keep that negative, da da da. But no, you need those electrons. You need those electrons just as much as you need those protons. You need a balance. You need to be in tune with your root chakra. just as much as you need to be in tune with your crown chakra. Like there needs to be a balance, because when there's an unbalance, you know, say you are so spiritual, but then you lose sight of the physical realm. So your outer relationships or what you're giving back to the world or your humane spirit is out of whack, because that's considered a lower being activity. That's not, you know, it's things that we overlook. And so to me, a duality is recognizing both, recognizing my light and my shadow,
All
and
right.
celebrating both, and not trying to suppress one or suppress the other in different companies.
Listen, y'all, I told this goddess right here that I was quite impressed with her development and her understanding of this journey, you know, because at 29, I feel like that's quite mature and quite revelating to have that type of depth and, you know, like I said, understanding of what's going on with self, you know, with self,
Thank you.
because you're welcome. And the self mastery thing is what we are pursuing, you know, like no matter your religious background, spiritual basis, or your preferences in life, or, you know, the way you want to go about it, it is all about the balance. It's all about the duality. It is all about seeing that, however people want to say it, you know, bringing that good and bad, bringing the light and the dark, bringing the yin and yang, however, masculine and feminine, you know, everything together in a balance, in a perfect harmony to be your greatest self, you know. And so you made me think of, for me, growing up in the Christian faith, I was nurtured and taught to love everything and love everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And um, I went so far with that that it caused me a lot of hardship and pain and strife. You know what I mean? Like loving to a detriment, like not having that balance, not having the flip side of protection or warlike covering for my own love, if that makes sense, you know? And so it wasn't until as I got older and kept going through these different experiences to where I was like, WTF. Excuse my language, you know what I'm saying, for
No,
those of you who might be offended. Not you, I know, you feel me? You know, but out there I'm saying, I was like, what the heck? You know, this can't be right, because I'm the most loving creature you're ever gonna meet. But I don't know about all this coming up short, and I don't know about this pain if I can bear much more, you know. So I had to figure out how to be more self-preserving, be more unafraid to express that warrior side of myself. Like you said, I kind of always had that part under suppression, didn't even know I had to ever use it until I was put in circumstances and situations that made me realize, like, love not so much the answer. Anyways, that's just a side note, but I was thinking about the balance. And I have a really close friend of mine who joined me during this quarantine time or whatever. And she and we 27 years deep. So she watched me grow. I watched her grow, you know, and she's seen that, which I'm talking about, as far as my loving nature. She calls me metals and flowers and metals, whatever. You know, and I'd be like, what, girl, you know? But of course, the flip side is I will always defend that which I believe, or, you know, I'm a fighter, I'm a warrior, revolutionary at heart. And so, as loving as I am, um, people are shocked when I have to show them that other side, you know. And I've been trying to keep that thing together, you know. But anyways, I I appreciate you just sharing that. You know, what you mentioned earlier provoked a lot of good thoughts, and I wanted to ask you in regards to developing Les Nobodies Business. Was there something in particular that spawned that idea, or that made you think, like, you know what? Oh, I'm going to bring this out and I'm going to incorporate these elements that you mentioned into like a business in the form of arts and entertainment. How did that come about?
It was an accumulation of things, and it was a really long process. It was um, the initial step was me starting my spiritual journey and learning about organites and crystals and what they do, and that was like like 8 or 9 years ago when I was first learning about it, and I bought my first orgonite pyramid, and I'm like, nobody makes these. Why not? Like, look at all
Right.
the stuff that it does. Look at what's going on in the world. That's when I was in my Alex Jones before its news phase of my
Okay.
journey.
Okay.
So it was just like, the world's ending. We need these. So that's when the idea occurred to me, like, we have these, you guys make pyramids, but why wouldn't I want this on my body? Like, I want to walk around with this stuff on me, like armor. So
I
I
know
started
that's right.
making jewelry for myself and what I wanted to see, because I wouldn't see anything that I wanted to wear. And then years later, like 7 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom with my youngest child for a year or so, and I was going crazy. Like, I can't be unproductive. I can't sit still. Me not being at work was like driving me nuts. Like, I had to do something. So I came back to that idea, and I started putting things together. And then initially it was called revisionistic media. And I started doing it from there.
Revisionistic.
Yeah, revisionistic media. That's what it was initially
Okay.
called. And it wasn't just that, it was also coming together and doing rallies and fundraisers and stuff for GMOs and radiation and all these things. It was an accumulation of all that. And I stopped for like a year or so. And what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago, I first moved to Virginia, and I still would wear all my jewelry. Like, I had over 100 pieces, and I used to work in a warehouse. I just gave all the pieces away to
Wow.
everybody because they
What?
were,
Where was I?
huh?
I said, what?
Right,
Where was I?
right. I just gave them away to everybody because they were just sitting in my closet. So then after I gave them away to everybody, I moved to Virginia, and I would wear my stuff. And, one event I went to, a handful of people kept stopping me. It was like, where'd you buy that? Like, what's the website? Why don't you have a store, kind of thing? And I was like, oh, while I'm down here in solitude,
Right, that part.
I brought it back up, and then it turned into Nobody's Business. And
Mm,
my life partner, his music name is Johnny Nobody. So the Nobody's Business is basically like the family last name, and then we turned it
loving it.
into like a whole thing.
I love
So
that.
that's how it came about. It was a good 10 years in the making.
Well, no, that's right. So 10 years in the making, and you kept your eyes focused on bringing it into vision. I mean, like, even subconsciously, you know what I mean? Like, never letting go. I think that's the important part too. It's just like realizing that you do have something special, and, or something to share, and something that you're really passionate about, and never letting go of that thing. So at the divine time, it can be made manifest, right? Um, with your jewelry, you mentioned, like, about protection, or like, you wanted to wear it like an armor. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the properties of these stones and these crystals and the metals, right?
The
Different
metals
metals.
too, yeah.
Okay, because I'm definitely still learning, but like, how did you come into that knowledge? Like, did you just start studying? What did you do to hone in on what their properties were and stuff like that?
I love learning. So I started studying the stones. I started studying like the different, I like how I look at things, how I learn is I look at things from a little pieces and the big piece at the same time.
What?
So
Brilliant.
the big pieces like the orgonite, but the little pieces was I wanted to learn about this from an atomic level, because
Dang.
to me, I break things down as an electromagnetic field. Like, you are the center, but like your planet, your natal chart planet alignment is like the atoms, the protons, neutrons, and electrons around you, and that's all your magnetic grid. So I wanted to learn about the crystals on that level. So I learned about the bonds. I learned about the colors, frequencies, and wavelengths of colors, and what it does to our eyes and our energy, and why. And
Yes.
when you break it down from that level, it makes the spiritual terms for this make more sense. And that's the duality of the physical, which is the science,
Come on now.
how those logical people need to think, and the spiritual, when I bring in the metaphysical properties into it, it's synonymous, but you have to, bring the two together. And that's how I learned about it. And then I learned about the metals from that level as well. And, I learned about the science of mixing the stuff to make the organites, because there's certain measurements you have to have of each, organic and non-organic, the different combos of the metals and the stones together. It's like a whole thing, but it's fun because like I enjoy projects and I love spiraling into things.
So Uniqea, what is your sign, goddess? What's your sun sign? And let's get into maybe even your moon and your rising. I'm sure you know those.
Oh yeah, I'm a Virgo sun, Virgo moon, and I'm Leo rising. So
I was going to say, if you say Virgo rising,
right. Oh my gosh, she really sits in the house all day. Like I kind of do.
no, because I know the listeners are probably like, I wonder what's her sign, right? So yeah, I had to find out. So Virgo, and Leo rising.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. That's very, very nice. Like practical, perfectionist, dedicated, driven and creative. Like Leo aspect, has a lot
Mm-hmm.
of creativity and wherewithal, the determination, to see things through, right?
Yeah, and then it's like that really like big energy. I'm very passionate about stuff. I walk into a
Ooh.
room and I'm like, be as excited as me, please. That's why I like performing on stage, because I think that's when I usually get that reaction back.
That's awesome. And so did you say that you also were, I know you said you were into writing, but did that afford you the opportunity or the interest of poetry and stuff like that as well? Like being into poetry, spoken word, or anything like that? Or just what type of writing were you into or are you into?
Initially it was always poetry. When I was a kid, I used to write like short poems, the haiku poems. And
Yeah,
then it was literature class. Literature class was so fun, and I had so many dope teachers. My creative writing teachers changed my life.
that's
And
dope.
when I got into like Shakespeare and I learned iambic pentameter, I loved the sound of it. So I got really into that. And I
What the
used to
heck is
write,
that?
that's like the 10 syllable per line. So, and
Oh
then the
man,
rhyme
you just took me way
scheme is
back.
A B, or something like that. A B, and then E, or something like that. And I got really into that. Um, and I started entering in contests, and it was fun. And then teachers would enter, like, say I had an assignment, I had to write something, and the teachers would take it and they would submit it into contests on my behalf. It was a lot of that happening, and that was pretty cool because I got to eat with the governor and mayors and all that stuff. And I was a kid; I didn't know who any of those people were. Um,
Listen, your gift will make room for you. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I heard, growing up in the scriptures or whatnot, that your gifts will make room for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I
mhm.
truly believe in irrefutable truths. You know what I mean? Like they're everywhere, and that's one of them that always stands out in my mind. Like your gifts will make room for you. Like 'cause sometimes people are trying to budge their way in or elbow their way in, and or I don't even know, like do unnecessary things to get in. But if you would think about your gifts, brothers and sisters, you would find new opportunities, new avenues, new doors will open up. And that I'm a living testimony of that. And look at, so is Uniqea. Um, you've written your first children's book, or do you have several children's books?
No, this
What's that?
is my first one.
Yeah, and it was sounding like a dope story, like the storyline reconnecting the children back to their culture and like nation building. Like share some information about that with our audience, please.
So the book is called Show and Tell, and it's a children's book. I'm probably like elementary school age level. And it's basically like a teacher says, all right, show and tell time. But, this time around, I want each student to go up to the front of the class and talk about where they're from. And it's about 9 different locations all over the world. I just picked random spots. And, these kids talk about it. I wrote the book in a rhyming fashion. I really like rhyming books. Like, my mom used to read me bedtime
Me
stories,
too.
and like Dr. Seuss was it for me. So I wrote it in a rhyming fashion, which is really cool. And I thought that would be like a cool way to help kids, remember things, because kids remember
Most
music
definitely.
and rhyming better. And the purpose of the book is just to introduce kids to diverse cultures. Education is the initial step to ending ignorance. And when you end ignorance, you can develop empathy. And that's the purpose. It's coming back to the Nobody's motto of, bringing awareness to our interdependence. And culturally, we are interdependent. This culture provides this while this culture provides this, and et cetera, et cetera. We don't have to be a melting pot. We can, be in our separate quarters, but still recognize the fact that, each of us has a job that we bring to the essential table.
Yes, indeed. So one body, many members, like has new meaning. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always thinking of things from a scriptural basis and foundation. Because, like I said, the majority of my childhood and young adulthood was spent, within the Christian faith and just reading, just studying, like from the Bible and things like that. So I often now try to, understand what it is in the metaphysical sense, you know what I mean, in the physical sense, and how that relates to my actual life, and like how I can apply that. My apologies, 1 second, my mic muted. So I was just saying that, just I wanted to relate the scriptures to my real life. You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense to me, make it practical. And so like, um, fortunately, I think it's more relevant now. It's just way more relevant. It makes more sense. I'm seeing things from a grander perspective. My eyes have been opened when I dropped the confines of the religion. You know what I'm saying? But I still held on to the spiritual principles and the truths that are within, all of the in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, but I wanted to. I know you mentioned the music. You mentioned the your orgonite jewelry, and you mentioned writing just in general. But we didn't really talk about the entertainment aspect. What other entertainment, like besides music, do you think that you're getting into, or that you're dibbling and dabbling with?
Well,
Because you said you was in after school programs, right? Any acting?
no, that would be cool though. Was thinking of, well, I want to do the children's book into an animation book. Also, revamping how I do Nobody's forecasting to where like it's a monthly episode type thing. I'm still, forming how I want that to be about, but I think I want it to be like kind of synonymous with how the weather forecasting is. But I want to make that in an educational type, entertaining type thing at the same time. And then I also do the Nobody's music, which is like a major thing for entertainment. That's my life partner. That's his realm. He has his video and audio communications thing going on. He has his team of people, Familiar Strangers, Dub and D, Maze, myself, Uniquea Monie, and he's Johnny Nobody. And we just do different songs. He's starting to get into doing videos and making skits for, the music, in between the music and stuff. So there's like storylines there. It's like a whole thing. So
See, there's that acting part I was talking about. I was picking up on. Like, I think you probably about to get, you know, connected, doing, some skit work with him. Like getting more active in that. So that's going to be great. But I love to see that you're doing this as a family. Like that's really beautiful. And I hope that inspires some people listening to think about, look at all the creative, beautiful gifts around you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you see something within your child or within your mate, help cultivate that thing, help encourage them, bring that out, participate. If that's not your thing, help them do their thing. And then I bet you're going to find along the way your own gifts and your own creativity start to flourish.
I definitely like the thing I love about the reading that I do is like that's my bonding time with my oldest son. Like we both really like to read, we both really like to talk, and he wants to get into narrating and commentating and things like that. So this is kind of like his practice for him while he's in high school and stuff. And then we're learning together. Like some of these books, it's the first time I'm reading them too. So, we're experiencing new things together. And I think that's really cool. We really enjoy doing that. And
I want to
with my partner with the music, that's pretty cool because our music is kind of how we throw our hearts at each other, like our little songs towards each other and stuff like that.
Yes, I feel that music speaks, the language of our soul oftentimes, you know what I'm saying? So like when you find the right kind of music, I definitely want to bring out this song that I asked Brother Bourne to prepare for this show and share it with you, audience out there listening, for this Golden Opportunity Sunday with your host, Goddess Asha Rae. And I'm here tonight with Uniquea, Monie. So what song you got for us, Brother Bourne? I'm ready to hear it. I also want to send love to, I think it's Fatima X or Fari X. Just said she was enjoying the vibe. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Definitely appreciate that. So brother, what you got for us? Richard Raw, Hard Work.
Hard work, hard work. I was destined to shine. I'm like Haller in his prime. Hard work. Passion, determination, and heart leave a mark with hard work. But they don't understand the magic that's in my hand. God's work, hard work. That will great, destined to be a great. My comp calls me a butcher, cause I'm raising the stakes. This is destiny. That's why I laugh when they threaten me. You ain't impressed with me. Brain power, that be my weaponry. Slick talkers, watch your mouth. Shoot your best, knock them out. Jab, uppercut, to the gut, knock them out. Underestimated, I'm underrated and hated the most, debated by haters, but tell them I'm God's favorite. I made it without the glamour, glitz and the propaganda. I'm fighting like life is in the slammer. I'm like Evander, training, aiming for greatness. Goal is to leave a legacy for the future to follow. A lot of men rising up in the ranks, blood, sweat, and the tears. A young Herms in his prime. I've been focused for years. My peers know I'm the truth. Broke it dope in the booth, suited up for the battle. I'm ready, bringing the truth. Hard work. I was destined to shine. I'm like Hagler in his prime. Hard work, passion, determination, and heart leave a mark with hard work. But they don't understand the magic that's in my hands. God's work, hard work, yeah. Like out the naysayers and doubters, talking never reroute us. My vision will never alter. Critics can never cloud us. Driven by my ambition, I slaughter my competition. Work the ring like Ali. Opponents keep a distance, yeah, fight with persistence, passion, determination. A natural born warrior, sit to fight for the nation. Raised in a small city, taught me how to be gritty. I ain't here with your pity, I'm short, tough, and I'm witty. I'm motivated by pain, burning out in the rain. I don't do it for fame, if I get it, I'm still the same. Sweat dripping, I'm ready, machete sharp on my toes. Work the angles with ease, I'm dancing around my foes. Hear me, cheer me, and smear me, as long as the world hear me. Destined to leave a mark, long as I follow my heart. Consider this just a spark to ignite the fire within. Strike a match to recap when the light that's shining is dim. Hard work. I was destined to shine. I'm like Hagler in his prime. Hard work. Passion, determination, and heart leave a mark with hard work. But they don't understand the magic that's in my hands. God's work, hard work.
Oh, I said, what's up? That was Richard Raw. I said, I never heard that song before, but I was definitely feeling the lyrics. What were you thinking about that? Yeah.
That's a nice, like, workout, like, amp up type, getting ready
Yeah,
to
I'm going to
do
have to
something.
get on that.
Yeah.
Hard work definitely does pay off, but hard work, it doesn't always have to be laborious, like it doesn't have to be doesn't have to drain your energy. You feel me? hard work can simply be committing to yourself to focus, you know what I mean? To dig in, or to set some time aside for your creative endeavors, you know what I mean? To set some side, set aside some time to think about how you can bring out those hidden treasures, right?
Right.
Dig them
Agree.
up. Because sometimes, I'm sorry, but sometimes it's hard to go against the grain, or you've experienced pain or life circumstances, situations that sometimes make you bury your gifts and be like, forget that. I'm not even working on that. I'm not even doing that no more. Maybe something somebody said, even. So
Definitely.
yeah, right. You want to speak to that, or do you want to say anything? Any like kind of maybe closing comments or anything that you wanted to share with the audience tonight that you feel is relevant in terms of resurrecting their gifts?
I would say I'll share like a couple of my biggest lessons in this
Wow, we are
journey.
blessed, family. It's
And
always good. I hope y'all listening.
one of the first ones was patience. Being patient. A lot of us want to do something for a month, 6 months, a year even, and think that as soon as we plant that seed in that period of time, things are going to come to us. The timing isn't up to you. And when you have an appreciation for the process and
Mm,
what you're going through, and the strength and the stamina and the education you're building in the process, how long it takes isn't going to bother you anymore, because you're not even going to look at it as that number of time it took. It took me 10 years to get to this space of
take a big
knowledge.
hit.
And that's a long time of stopping and going and
Come
being
on.
discouraged and being too tired, and not having the funds and not having the supplies and not having the connects and things falling through. But you just gotta keep going. It's okay. You can have
Whew.
a bad moment, don't make it a bad day. And those were like the biggest things that I still carry with me throughout this journey with Nobodies, because this isn't the end for me. This is really like the beginning of something different.
Total facts. I see that. I see that. And like at 29 and on the cusp of that 30-year cycle, all I can say is wow, like what the future has in store is definitely
Yeah.
looking golden to me.
Thank
I'm
you. Thank you.
excited. You're welcome. I'm so excited to see what you're going to continue to create and produce, and not only as the magnificent creator that you are, but the collective energy of your family. Like, wow, that's untapped right there. We're going to see so much more from you, and I feel like it's such a beautiful, I want to say, contribution to those
Thank
around
you.
you and to those that are going to be able to partake of your gift. Like for
Hmm.
one, I definitely will be rocking me some jewelry real soon. So I'm going to get with you on that. And, just hearing the music and sharing the children's books, like that's a pretty robust commitment. You know what I'm saying? That you're taking an approach that you're taking your gift seriously, right?
Yeah. Trying to.
So yeah. And she said when I was
And
talking
that
to
took
her earlier,
time. That took time. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
you're
just want to say
fine.
one more thing. Like, this thing that I'm doing with my family, it didn't start off with my family. I was trying to get people to join me to do this thing for so long. You cannot rely on other people to treat your dreams, your gifts, or your goals better than you are. If you have not started building your dreams and your goals, and you looking for other people to contribute, and you not even doing it, it's not going to happen. You
I
have to
might
do
need to
it
run that back.
yourself. It's your destiny. You have to do it yourself. And if you affect other people's destinies, blessings. The fact that I get to affect my partner or my children or other family members' destinies is blessings. But this is my destiny. You have to be like that.
Gotta own it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My closing comments are first of all, thank you, Goddess Uniquea Monie,
Thank you.
the creator and owner of Les Nobodies Business, a metaphysical arts and entertainment company, in addition to author of her first children's book, and musician. You can check out the music of her and her partner Johnny Nobody right on YouTube. The
YouTube,
spelling of Johnny,
Tidal, Apple Music. Yeah,
all that Spotify.
JAHNEE. Mm-hmm.
Jahnee. She said nobody Nobie.
Mm-hmm. NOBODIE.
So yeah, that's what's up. Definitely looking forward to building with you, and you know, letting your light shine so that people can see it. You know what I mean, and not be afraid to use their own. Right. I
Right.
just I just want to see more. I was very inspired just hearing her speak and share. And like I said, at 29, if you're over that and you're older than that, what are you doing?
Take your time. It's what everyone is supposed to. But do it
No,
though. Do it.
I'm just messing. There's no time limit on your dreams. There's no time limit, and there's no time like the present to get started. Like sometimes you got to think about why are we in certain circumstances and situations? Why did the whole world just stop? It stopped for you to look within you and
Mhm.
tap back in and find you and find out what's really important, what's really a priority, and what's really um, being neglected. You know what I mean? About you and about your life, about your purpose, about your passion, and reclaim that. And I would say for even myself, this is about a reclaiming of the throne. This is about a reclaiming of destiny, and it is a resurrection of the gifts, a resurrection of yourself, a resurrection of whatever it is that you desire to see. You know what I mean? So it's never too late, and don't be so down on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, but be hard enough to get things done. You feel
Mhm.
me?
Yeah, that's
Um,
good words right there, y'all.
that's what's up. Brother Knowledge Born, you have any closing comments or anything you want to add before we wrap tonight's show? But we'll be back again next Sunday, same time, same place, right here on Do the Knowledge Radio with Knowledge Born Allah. Me, your host, Goddess Asha Rae, and our friends. So, anything from you, Knowledge?
Stepped out.
He said he's by the door. Don't be calling on him. He's protecting us by the door so that we can move freely and move about and speak freely. And I think that's even a blessing, to be able to speak and share, right? Sometimes
Right.
I've been fought on speaking out, like, or speaking the truth of what's in my heart, what's in my soul to share with the people. But like, as I've been reminded, by great friends and family members, even strangers sometimes, I have a voice that needs to be heard, and I have a message that needs to be spoken. And
Mhm.
then I'm reminded by the divine creator and the ancestors that I better speak it on up, speak up.
Yeah, I'm learning to find my voice and speak up now because I always thought that love was being quiet and allowing people to do stuff, even if it was hurtful or hindering or whatever to you. Love was
Yeah,
tolerating that. I didn't know that I could still love someone and speak up and say, hey, I'm not tolerating this or I'm putting a boundary to this. And I'm learning how to use that. But you know what's so funny? So I haven't used that voice. But now when I'm using it, I'm just like spewing fire everywhere. I got to
that's what
find a
happens.
video, girl, because I've been biting heads off. I've been suppressed.
Yeah, that's what happens. They was not ready. You don't push these nice little gazelles into the corner and stuff. And then we've
Mhm.
been watching our lions out there, so we know how to act now. Okay, we back. We better
Right.
now. We better now. We building balance, so y'all better beware. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
When I
But
get
we're
this
gonna.
throat chakra rocking, y'all better watch out.
Oh. But family is definitely all love. Definitely appreciate everyone for tuning in and for sharing this love, for sharing this light, for sharing the gift of your energy with us. And Goddess, I thank you again for your time and for sharing all the beautiful, you know, uh, I would say like facets of your jewel. You know what I mean? Just different angles. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for
You're
worrying
welcome.
about that.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
We're gonna leave the people with us. Kill Bill 3 featuring. You wish I could read that small, y'all. Can
Queen
you read that?
Heroine. Queen Heroine and Star.
See, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yep.
Till next time, we thank you for tuning in. Where can they check you out next? So I'm sorry, don't hit that play button, brother. Where can they check you out? I know you do a broadcast or a podcast, right?
Yeah, if you go in that little search bar and put Nobody's Business, I'll pop up. And then you can also catch my jewelry at lesnobodiescollection.com. Those are the
Make sure
two
you
main
do that.
places.
LesNobodiesCollection.com, and also check her out on Instagram. Les Nobodies
_collection. I always forget about the Instagram page.
_collection. Yeah, check that Instagram out, and then be sure to like and follow. Peace, y'all. I'm Asha Rae on Instagram. I'm Asha Rae. I'm Miss Asha Rae on Instagram, MZ, and I am Asha Rae, of course, on Facebook. Stay tuned, y'all. Up next, Kill Bill 3, featuring one more time.
Queen Heroine and Star.
Thank you. Much love.
Yo, enter the terror dome. Fuck with some shit you ain't never known. Titties that's home. In a load.
It's seeming like it's not necessarily wanting to play all the way through. You want to start it over? Sometimes you want to act up a little bit, especially when you're trying to say something radical. In the meantime, family, all I can keep thinking about is resurrect, resurrect, resurrect. You know what I mean? Look beyond the superficial meanings, look beyond the holidays, HOLIDAZE, holidays, and, you know, find purpose, find your own interpretation, but understanding and understanding that comes from spirit and that comes from the truth that is within you. And I think you're going to find some pleasing things, some attributes, some natural abilities, some things you may have forgotten about that can not only be rewarding and enjoyable in life, but also provide an avenue of income and, you know, open up those doors, some avenues of revenue for you if you use your gifts. So that was also a vital point to make in regards to revitalizing and resurrecting your gifts. There's money to be made, and there's money in the fish's mouth, meaning like as you go out and you share with these, you know, share these gifts with people or whatnot, you never know what the fish is going to present to you. So happy fishing, everybody, and you know, stay on your mission. Anything else come to mind before we go? Because we're gonna just, we'll get back to the music next week. But anything you want to say, Uniquea?
No, just listen to your inner self. Your inner self during this time while we're in quarantine is the perfect time to meditate and face your shadow work, face your light work, find out what it is that, you know, spirit wants you to do during this downtime. What do you need to build on and then change and rearrange about yourself right now so that when the world does start turning again and, you know, we're back on that high speed hamster wheel again, will you be stable? Will you be secure? Or will you still get warped up in the wave as we were before, you know?
Word to your mother, son. And that's how we end in this thing. Just like that. Thank you. I couldn't have said it no better. Peace to you and peace.
Yes.
Peace.